Electric vehicles have had their ups and downs over the last 2 decades, but we are now on the verge of an EV revolution. After a period of stagnation, electric vehicles are regaining appeal, with numerous automakers releasing new models each year. Let's look at where the technology for electric vehicles came from and what the future of electrical vehicles hold. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Market. The worldwide electric vehicle market was valued at $163.01 billion in 2020 and is predicted to increase to $823.75 billion by 2030 at an 18.2% CAGR from 2021 to 2030. By the end of 2020, the world's highways would have 10 million electric vehicles. Furthermore, despite the pandemic-related global downturn in car sales, which decreased by 16%, electric car registrations surged by 41% in 2020. Globally, around 3 million electric vehicles were sold. Electric bus and truck registrations have also increased in key markets, with global stocks reaching 600,000 and 31,000 respectively. From 2017 to 2019, China accounted for more than half of worldwide EV sales, but that dynamic altered in 2020 as EV sales in Europe more than tripled. Various policy tools on both the demand and supply sides are being employed to encourage this expansion. EV sales in North America are slowing, but the Biden administration is proposing $174 billion in expenditures to boost the EV business ahead, which, when combined with new fuel economy standards, might cover the gap with China and Europe. The majority of plug-in cars sold globally are battery electric vehicles, or BEVs, while sales of plug-in hybrids, or PHEVs, are increasing rapidly in Europe. Vehicle makers have declared bolder ambitions for electrification. Out of the world's top 20 vehicle manufacturers, which account for over 90% of new car registrations in 2020, 18 have indicated plans to expand their model portfolio and swiftly expand the production of light-duty electric cars. Electric heavy-duty vehicle model availability is also expanding, with 4 major truck manufacturers projecting an all-electric future. In 2020, increasing consumers in electric vehicle purchases is expected to reach US $120 billion. In parallel, governments throughout the world spent $14 billion to encourage the sale of electric vehicles, a 25% increase from 2019, owing mostly to higher incentives in Europe. Nonetheless, the proportion of government subsidies and overall spending on electrical vehicles has fallen over the last 5 years, indicating that EVs are becoming more appealing to customers. In 2020, the global average BEV price was approximately $40,000, while a PHEV price was around $50,000. Despite this, the percentage of government incentives and overall EV investment has been declining from around 20% in 2015 to 10% in 2020. The whole rise in government investment occurred in Europe when several governments responded to the pandemic-induced economic crisis with incentive schemes that increased electric vehicle sales. Analysts project that by 2040, electric vehicles will account for around half of all vehicles sold globally. EV sales alone might generate billions of dollars in income. With gasoline costs steadily rising, more people are contemplating electric vehicles as an alternative mode of transportation, bringing up unlimited possibilities for manufacturers in terms of future profitability and income. Here are the top 10 global EV manufacturers: Nissan Motor, Tesla Inc., Toyota Motor, Ford Motor, Volkswagen, BMW, General Motors, Daimler AG, Hyundai Motor, and Mitsubishi Motors. History. At the end of the 19th century, the first functional models were built. Electric cars were frequently utilized in the United States until the 1920s. Germany was one of the most active adopters of electric automobiles in the early 20th century. Since 1947, they have been used regularly in England. In 1828, Ányos Jedlik, a Hungarian inventor, designed an electrically driven cart that resembled a skateboard. In 1841, the first vehicle, which was more of a cart, was built. In 1899, a vehicle built by La Jamais with a bullet body came the first to cross the 100-kilometer barrier. On a single charge, the record was 167 kilometers. The electric car's first shortcoming was its complicated charging infrastructure. Future. We all know and think that electric vehicles, or EVs, will rule the future of private vehicles. Even though they currently account for a small portion of the entire auto industry, and gas cars continue to dominate the private car market, the situation is set to change shortly. The electric vehicle market is expanding at a furious pace. Electric vehicles will outsell conventional autos by 2030, according to industry analysts. Unlike typical gasoline-powered vehicles, purchasing and operating electric vehicles may soon be less expensive or comparable. They're also better for the environment because they don't generate any emissions and so don't pollute the environment, and they can be charged with renewable energy. The quick adoption of such technology by the general public is largely due to the breakthroughs in the field of electric vehicles by major manufacturers. This article will look at the top 10 electric vehicle manufacturers in the world. It won't be long before electric vehicles catch up to and overtake conventional automobiles. Electric vehicles are excellent for the environment. As electric vehicles replace gasoline-powered vehicles as the most prevalent means of transportation, air pollution will substantially decrease. Top 10 best electric cars so far. Number 1. Hyundai Ioniq 5. Number 2. Kia EV6. Number 3. Skoda Enyaq. Number 4. Fiat 500. Number 5. BMW i4. Number 6. BMW iX. Number 7. Ford Mustang Mach-E. Number 8. Porsche Taycan. Number 9. Tesla Model 3. And number 10. Tesla Model Y. So guys, that was it for this video. What did you think about our video? Let us know in the comments section below, and if you are new to our channel, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell to get notified about our latest videos. Thanks for watching.
Over the past few years, with increasing concerns for a sustainable future, the market for electric cars has drastically expanded. From just a few models available in the market to an array of models to choose from, it seems like every popular car manufacturer has invested huge sums in the R&D and sales of electric vehicles. However, the prediction and scope for further expansion speak otherwise. Till now, we've barely seen the advent of electric vehicles. Within a few decades, it is highly probable that EVs are going to replace the fuel-powered cars altogether. Stay tuned right to the end of the video to find out more about this promising future of the EV industry. Almost every car buff knows that EVs are not only sustainable in terms of the environment and natural resources, but they are also quite affordable to maintain. So what's so special about these EVs that a lot of people have switched from traditional cars to EVs? Let's find out. But before that, let's take a look at the history of EVs. It might seem like the concept of EVs was materialized just a few years ago, but the truth is that these cars were conceptualized and the first functional models were built over 100 years ago. So who invented the electric vehicle? Actually, it's quite hard to say. There were a series of inventions and innovations in the late 1800s that were instrumental in bringing the first EV on the road. In the US, we generally owe the propagation of EVs to William Morrison, who played a phenomenal role in bringing the first EV to the road around 1890. From here onwards, different vehicle manufacturers started implementing this idea and came up with brilliant models. However, it wasn't until very recently that EVs started gaining a lot of popularity, so let's take a look at the growth of this industry. Growth of EVs. To understand how rapidly this market has progressed, let's take a look at some statistics. In 2020, more than 10 million EVs were on the roads globally. In fact, the global electric passenger car stock has seen an exponential rise since 2010. The global electric vehicle market was worth $163.01 billion in 2020, and it is expected to grow to $823.75 billion by 2030 with a CAGR of 18.2% from 2021 to 2030. Since 2019, there was a tremendous increase of 50% on electric car purchases by consumers. The total amount is estimated to be around $120 billion. Even the governments across the world, in a bid to encourage a sustainable future, have spent over $14 billion on tax deductions and incentives for EVs. This is a major reason for the increasing popularity of EVs, as their prices became comparable with that of fuel vehicles. In fact, in some countries, there was a fall in the price of EVs. This was mainly because the governments introduced a cap on providing subsidies for EVs, and if the cost of car crossed that threshold, no subsidies would be provided. If you have enjoyed watching the video till here, don't forget to like and share it. Hit that subscribe button for more interesting videos such as this one, and press the bell icon so that you never miss an update. So the major question arises, why electric vehicles? Of course, they are a step towards a clean environment, but that's surely not a reason enough for so many people to switch to EVs. Unfortunately, not many people are environment conscious. So what are the other benefits of EVs? EVs have a lower running cost, lower maintenance cost, zero tailpipe emissions, provide a better driving experience, reduce noise pollution, and have an increased resale value. No wonder why people are so keen on buying them these days. What are some popular EVs you can buy? Now this is a very subjective question, and depending on your personal needs, the car you would buy might vary from the ones we are suggesting. However, we would recommend you to consider these ones. After all, we're recommending the best-selling models. They are 1. Nissan Leaf, 2. Audi e-tron, 3. Volkswagen ID4, 4. Tesla Model 3, 5. Tesla Model Y, 6. Wuling, 7. Hyundai Ioniq 5, 8. Porsche Taycan. Out of all these, Tesla Model 3 saw over 87% increase in registrations. That means 603,000 units. Which car are you considering on buying? Do mention it in the comments section below. There are already some great EVs out in the market, and this huge transition from fuel vehicles to EVs surely implies better prospects of EVs in the future. Let's take a closer look at the predictions of EV market in the future. It has been predicted that by 2035, the largest automotive markets will be fully electric. However, it is not as easy as it sounds. To support EVs, new infrastructure will have to be brought into place first. For instance, the charging points. As there was an exceptional rise in the sales of EVs, the infrastructure needs to keep up with this rate. This in itself is going to bear a huge expense. It is true that EVs are shaping our future, and with the changing landscape of the automotive industry, governments will provide more funds for developing the infrastructure that will be needed. Most of the large automakers have already started distancing themselves from combustion-based strategies and are setting their sights on an electric-only path, despite the challenges to overcome and the investments to be made. But when do you think most countries will become all electric? Do let us know in the comments section below.